We've looked at how to edit regions within the main window, but let's talk a little bit about the editors that we use to get a little bit more granular with how we're going to edit audio and MIDI. Starting with audio, I'm going to grab these Apple loops. Apple loops have a lot of data in them that keep them from being messed with too much. So I'm going to bounce this down into an audio file that's not an Apple loop, but a standard PCM audio file, an AIF or a WAV. I'll hold Control and hit B, and it's going to create this, it's called Brawler Tech Beat BIP for bounce in place. On a new track, delete the other track, and bypass effect. All this stuff is turned off. Overload protection only is fine. Hit OK. There we go. Now I have a single audio file. This is one contiguous audio file that I can use in any of the audio editors. So there are two audio editors, and then there's the project audio window. To get into the audio editors, you just double-click on an audio region. There's a track view and a file view. File view is where we can actually go in and we can change the sample structure of this audio file. We can redraw the waveform. We can alter pitch and tuning in a destructive way, where we're actually destructively changing this file. We can't go back. Well, actually, we can go back because you can create backups, but the way that I prefer to think about it at this stage of the game, this is a destructive editor where we go through and we do our surgical editing and reversing of samples and doing all that kind of stuff. When we're in the track view, basically this is an expanded view of what we see in the main window already. If I was to turn on flex mode, this is something that allows me to move around transients. I can do it in the main window. In the main window, I can also select it to show flex view. And, I could zoom in on it. So I select this region, hit Z, and I could zoom in, and I could do flex view here as well. But sometimes it's better to see it close up in this editor, in the track editor. All the changes that I do here will be reflected in the main window. So the file editor allows us to do really granular, intense sample manipulation. And then the track editor is just giving us a really big expanded view of what we would normally see in the main window. In the file edit view, we can actually see the region. If I zoom out a bit, I can see at the bottom the region start and the region end. I can also see its anchor point. That's where it's going to be anchored in the main window. We'll go over all that stuff later, though. The most important thing to understand is that in the track view, we're looking at an expanded view of the track, and in the file editor, we can go in and we can actually rewrite this sample if we want. Editing MIDI regions in Logic is a very different process from editing audio. Let's check out the MIDI editors that are built into Logic.